say like a basketball game came down to a tie, right, or whatever, and they had to settle it by breakdancing. Or if that was an Olympic rule, all ties are settled by breakdancing, I'd be down for that.
You've just created a potentially new Olympic sport. Basketball dancing. Breakball.
White people were super into being able to say that, yeah, he's the best athlete ever, right? He's got the most Olympic medals. He's the best athlete ever because, he's a white swimmer.
People in the Olympic Village had so much sex that I believe they were a total of 35,000 condoms issued to the athletes just this past Olympics.
I mean, is this a weird question to ask, but is it fair racially, right? Like, is it fair for white people that they have to, those are the people that have to compete, like these Polish guys, is it fair that they have to compete against Noah Lyles?
I mean,
is it fair?
Working Perspectives podcast presents Ask AI.
Hello and welcome to the Working Perspectives podcast presents Ask AI. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by the one and only Bern Podcasty. On this show, we'll be asking AI the hard-hitting questions and seeing if AI truly has all the answers. There's no question too crazy, no inquiry too outrageous, and no query too queer. AI may have all the answers, but we're here to prove that you can't have great answers without great questions. If you would like to send us some questions to Ask AI, please comment on this video or message us on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. Tonight's question is, what's the deal with the Olympics? Enjoy the show.
What's the deal with the Olympics?
Benoit Pahud-Kisse, your boy, put his nuts all over the chin of that intro once again. How are we, sir?
Yeah, it's amazing every week, man. I watch it every week. It's like clockwork. Like I said, I wouldn't believe that you were doing it live if I didn't see it with these own two eyes of mine.
We'll do it live. Well, I don't want to curse this early, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
Want a fun fact there, Benoit Pahud-Kisse?
I never say no to a fun fact.
And here's a fun fact for you. On the show Happy Days, the main character, the Fonz, rode a motorcycle, correct?
Arthur Fonzarelli did, in fact, ride a motorcycle, yes.
That is correct. Played by the one and only Henry Winkler. That motorcycle, you'd seen it before then. That motorcycle was previously ridden in a movie. It was the movie The Great Escape, and it was ridden by Steve McQueen when he was escaping the Nazis, and he rode a motorcycle into a barbed wire fence. Same motorcycle in The Great Escape, same motorcycle in The Happy Days. That's your fun fact.
That's an extremely fun fact. That motorcycle was as tough as Steve McQueen. The fact that it was able to hold up through that.
I'll say this. Fonz was known as the coolest, right? And Fonz it's the Fonz. He's the coolest, right? But if you ain't the coolest unless you're riding Steve McQueen's motorcycle. You know what I mean? So he's got Steve McQueen's motorcycle. He's the coolest.
Can I piggyback a fun fact off of your fun fact?
Oh, I love a good fun fact.
You ever hear the term jumping the shark? Like when a TV show or something starts doing ridiculous things and you're like, okay, they kind of jumped the shark, like they're kind of out of ideas. That term comes from Happy Days. There was an episode of Happy Days late in the series where the premise of an episode was for the Fonz to use that motorcycle to jump over a shark in a tank. And it was generally considered pretty much when Happy Days was all out of ideas. So the term jump the shark actually incorporates Steve McQueen's motorcycle from The Great Escape.
You want to hear another fun fact on top of that fun fact?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so the Arthur Fonzarelli, played by Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler's father was either a Polish or a German Jew that escaped the Nazis and made it to America, right? So Henry Winkler could water ski, right? So Henry Winkler's father implored him, Henry, you gotta tell them that you can water ski. Tell them you can water ski, Henry. Tell them. And meaning when he says that, he meant tell the directors and producers. And Henry for years was like, no, Dad, no, I'm not going to tell him I can water ski. No, 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 no. Right? Then eventually Henry gives in and tells the directors and producers that he can in fact water ski and he can water ski pretty well. And then what happens? They jump the fucking shark.
Wow. Do you want to hear
Pretty
a
cool.
fun fact on top of your fun fact on top of my fun
God
fact?
damn, I do. Yeah.
Well, too bad because I'm all out.
Oh, God, I'm having a fun fact on my face. Man, if you had a fun fact on top of my fun fact, there was another one on top of the fun fact. Woo, woo. Pretty cool, huh? Fun fact.
That is another fun fact. Man, this has been a very educational episode so far, and we haven't even gotten into our question.
So, like you said, the question we asked tonight, we asked AI, what's the deal with the Olympics, right? So this is what I'm thinking, right? Like, the every 4 years is the appeal for the Olympics. Because if this was every year, no one would give a shit. But every 4 years, everybody's up for it. And, dude, when, like, I think we are spoiled because the U.S. dominates, but, like, the fact that they have the Olympics, and when you see your country do so well, it's the best, right?
Well, that's the thing too. Like, I keep wondering, like, how cool is the Olympics? Because I'm never excited about it when it's coming up. Like, I'm never chomping at champing at the bit for the Olympics to come up. But I always catch myself getting way more into it than I thought I forget every 4 years that I'm like, oh, the Olympics, whatever. And then by like the fourth day, I'm just like, I can't believe we got bounced out of water polo. Like it gets into your bones a little bit. Now, again, as an American, I think we're finishing up at like 120 medals, like pretty much 40.
Oh, dominating.
And our big ones, like our basketball squads, men's and women's, took it down.
Did decent in wrestling. We murder swimming. We murder gymnastics.
We did not murder swimming this time around.
Oh, we didn't?
No, the Australians had a real, like, all their gold medals came in swimming. See, what I mean? I have no idea going in, but now I'm like, oh, no, swimming. We were down this year in swimming. The Australians are really coming up. Like, I never think I'm going to care, and then I always end up caring more than I think. So initially I was like, are the Olympics cool? I feel like I don't know. I feel like they're pretty cool, like, because they always catch me off guard.
Yeah.
And I always end up getting more sucked in than I think I'm going to.
Agreed. And it's weird, like, the superstars that emerge from the Olympics, right? Like, did you see the U.S. women's rugby game where that one girl, it was the medal game, and the U.S. is down, and they need to score, like, a touchdown in rugby, whatever. I think it's called a try. And they need to score one, and they're legit on their 1 yard line. And this one rugby chick, she stiff arms this chick to, like, plants her, like, the girl's holding the ball, stiff arms this chick, plants her on her ass, trucks over her, and runs the whole length of the field to score the game tying touchdown, then kicks the field goal to win it, or the extra point to win it, right? Like, that was awesome. I was like,
Insane.
You don't get but it's like the whole place is going nuts, everybody's going wild, and it's like that's one of the things that's like, that's what's awesome about the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that,
And there's generally stuff like that I don't know. I don't understand all the rules of handball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like if I was 20 years old, I could grab like 5 or 6 of my buddies and be like, let's go compete in this Olympic handball thing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of technique involved, but, like, I don't know, that looks fun. It's a full court of fun.
Can you name, like, I feel like there's always like the top female gymnast is always saying, like, I remember the Mary Lou Retton days, Remember Mary Lou Retton, the female Olympic? And then, dude, do you remember the Fab Five, Dominique Moceanu? Let's talk about this. I've wanted to talk about this. If there's a crush I had as a kid coming up, 96 Olympics, Dominique Moceanu. You know who I'm talking about?
That was your girl? Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love Dominique Moceanu. I remember she was on the cover of Sports Illustrated Kids. She was my girl. Fuck Carrie Strug. I was Dominique Moceanu all day. You know what I'm saying? I was Moceanu all day. Cute little
Forget
white
about
type
it.
babe. I bet she's still looking good. We gotta look up Moceanu, right? But then you go on and what was it? Gabby Johnson was the one girl's name, right?
Well, Gabby Johnson was more recently.
Well, then it's after Gabby Johnson, it's Simone Biles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now Simone Biles is the queen of tennis. But then, or queen of gymnastics. But remember, too, the one girl that got like silver and she was the meme that was like that look. You know what I mean? Like, I forget her
Yeah.
name. But like, that was like massive, came from the Olympics.
I don't remember her name either. She was
Yeah.
attractive as well.
Dude, smoker.
Here's the thing though, like I was watching gymnastics and like, all right, here's a question for you. Like athletes, right?
Yep.
Like we think of the best, and maybe it's only because we only see them every 4 years. But like
Yep.
if you were gonna rip off, if you were just gonna ask a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old right now, who are the best athletes in the world, right? They'd be like Ronaldo,
LeBron,
LeBron,
yeah.
Pat Mahomes, like Tyreek Hill,
Travis
like
Kelce, whatever.
it'd be a lot of basketball players and football
Some
players. Those guys are,
footballers.
and anytime you have a guy who's 350 running like a 4.8, you know what I mean? Like that guy is a tremendous athlete. But they showed at one point Simone Biles, and she was just doing her like floor exercise, right? So there's no trampoline, there's nothing to jump off of.
No springboard.
Yeah, springboard. That's what I was looking for. Her head was 11 feet 8 inches in the air. Wow. She is 4'9".
Wow.
That's the equivalent of like LeBron easily dunking on a 15-foot hoop.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. Like her head was 2 feet above a basketball hoop, and she is the size. She's smaller than most people's little brother. Like she's sub 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's like athleticism that's unmatched. I agree. Unbelievable athleticism. Have you seen her husband too?
Yeah, he plays in the NFC North.
I think he plays for the Bears.
He was a Packer and now he's a Bear, I believe.
Yeah. Owens, I think is his name. Dude, he must be just like, she must be spinning all day. She knew how to do the pole vault, if you know what I mean. So, okay, let's ask AI this real quick and see what they say. I'm going to ask AI, why are the Olympics cool? And the AI is going to say this. I said, hello, AI. Can you please tell me why the Olympics are cool? And it says thus: the Olympics are a global spectacle that captures the hearts of millions. Here's why they're so cool. Human potential. Witnessing athletes push the boundaries of human ability is awe-inspiring. From record-breaking feats to overcoming adversity, the Olympics showcase the incredible things humans can achieve. Dude, so true. Also, it reminds you that sprinter chicks are smoke shows. Dude, Gabby Thomas is a rocket. Rocket. Am I right? Am I right?
You're not wrong.
Not wrong. Good looking Gabby Thomas. That's what I call her. Also, there's this Polish chick. I've Googled her a couple times, but I keep forgetting her name. It's like Iwa Saboba or something like that. She's another smoke. But either way, and Sha'Carri Richardson. But I feel like Sha'Carri, she's just a little too angry for me. And then also it says global unity. Athletes from all corners of the world come together to compete, fostering a sense of unity and respect. It's a celebration of diversity and shared humanity. It's also true. I feel like people do come together and like unite. Like it's all about it's about being competitive, but competitive in a safe space. They that make sense?
All right. Here's how much they come together. People in the Olympic Village have so much sex that I believe they were a total of 35,000 condoms issued to the athletes just this past Olympics. And it's to the point now where they have them sleeping on these cardboard beds that can only support the weight of one person, because what happens is you have all these people who are really attractive, in incredible shape, who are training their whole lives for something. And then like, what do? You finish up like your events, like day 3 of the Olympics, and you're done. You're just hanging out.
Yeah.
You're just chatting up some members of the same sex or the opposite sex, whatever you're into. You're just in the Olympic Village. Just, hey, what's up? What are you doing? You throw javelin? That's cool. Like,
I have a feeling the beach volleyball people are very popular. You know what I mean?
I think it's a great idea. I think as far
Let them
as
procreate, babe.
exactly, I think if there's any gene pool that we should be promoting casual sex throughout, it should be these Olympic athletes. Like I want
Oh
to see
yeah,
what happens when a world class sprinter gets with a world class swimmer. You know what I mean? Like what do they
yeah.
create?
Dude,
Something wild.
have LeBron pop off a couple and whoever the best female volleyball player is and see what we can do here. Come on,
Yeah.
let's
7 foot
do
tall.
this.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, yes, it is definitely about unity. It is definitely about coming together. It is about cardboard beds and condoms
yeah. hmm
and just having a good old fashioned hootenanny.
Yeah. The AI says it's also inspirational. Olympic stories are filled with inspiration, overcoming challenges, pursuing dreams, and achieving greatness. These narratives can motivate and uplift people of all ages. And then it also says new sports and cultures. The Olympics introduce us to the new and exciting sports, expanding our horizons. Additionally, it offers a glimpse into different cultures through opening ceremonies and competitions. I will say this, it shows you new sports, but then it gives you a glimpse of like I don't think I would be super into like the level of swimming below the Olympics, but the level of swimming in the Olympics is awesome to watch, especially when it's like, dude, like when they're legit like a tenth of a second difference. That's insanity. How fast they're going in the water. And when's the last time you went swimming, Burn? I guarantee you're not moving like them. You know?
I'm not moving anything close to that. I mean, can you imagine you lose a swimming meet by like a hundredth of a second, and you probably remember the point where your shoulder twitched a little bit weird.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like
oh,
on your 11th stroke that cost
yeah,
you that
yeah.
that amount of time. Um,
You
oh,
reached like you reached almost as perfectly far as you could. You're just not super far. That's it right there. That's
exactly.
wild.
You probably remember that. Also, there is some humor involved. You talk about new sports and culture. I don't know if you caught the breakdancing. Uh,
Oh, did I catch the breakdown?
And then there was the Australian gal, I
Yeah.
believe, who was awarded zero point zero
Yep.
points by all of
Yep.
the judges because I
Yeah.
guess I mean I guess it's a subjective thing, you know what I mean? You're judging
Sure.
breakdancing,
Sure.
but there had to be some kind of criteria mapped out. Like that she
Right.
had to know, right, that what she was doing, like I mean, there's like gymnastics as a floor exercise, right? But they still know, like, hey, if you hit this point, if you hit these moves, right, they're worth a certain amount of
Yeah.
points and degree of difficulty. And like,
Yeah.
how does someone
I
go up there and just get a goose egg?
Can I ask you this too? Like, I did watch the video, and maybe her moves weren't great. It's not a maybe. The moves weren't great, but
Yeah,
she did look like she was taking it seriously. Like that's got to be
I
said for
agree.
she might not have done as well as Johnny Breakdancer from the block, but she did try her best. It looked like she did try her best, right?
I could understand how they gave her like it wasn't like she was up there making fun of it. It just seems like she
No,
didn't
she tried.
understand
Yeah.
the assignment, and
And
so
she just
that's
wasn't good at it. Like, but she tried, right? Like,
yeah,
hey, they made a movie about a Jamaican bobsled team that didn't, like, that was awful, But at
terrible,
least they
terrible.
tried. They tried
Yeah,
their hardest. That's what it's about. She gave it her all.
I would imagine the breakdance competition will be kicked up in 4 years when the Olympics are in Los Angeles.
Wow. The Olympics are back in LA.
LA in 2028.
Man, they haven't been in the US since 96, right?
And since Georgia, right? Since Atlanta.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
all, dude. That was all your boy, Big Willie Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton. That was all him getting the Olympics here. That schmoozing son of a gun. You know what I mean?
They actually had a thing at the Olympics closing ceremony where Tom Cruise Mission Impossible off the top of the arena they were inside, like with the cord. So like in the first Mission Impossible when he like came down.
What
And then he
in '96?
no, the other
Oh,
like on Monday
at Paris.
in Paris. And then he jumped on a motorcycle and rode a motorcycle out of the venue. And then there was a pre-recorded video of him getting into a plane and then jumping out of a plane over Los Angeles, changing the Hollywood sign to have the Olympic He added 3 rings to it to make it the Olympic sign, and then immediately into a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert. It was wild.
That is kind of wild. I
Yeah.
mean,
Dre and Snoop came out. Billie Eilish was there. Like all of a sudden, it was just a big like, hey, get psyched up for
so
LA.
no athletes, just Hollywood celebs.
For the most part, for this,
Yeah.
for this.
They're like, look, we're doing it in LA. Don't worry about athletes. You might catch a game with a celeb.
Yeah, I think the athletes were still in Paris.
So the last thing that AI says is makes the Olympics cool is unforgettable moments, which there are a ton. You know what I mean? Like I can think of 96 with the Kerry Strug, even though I am, a self-proclaimed Moceanu man. And then also if you look, I remember when Paul Hamm won the men's Olympics. I remember, that one relay that Michael Phelps had, and it was like different, it was like a 4-person relay, and the one American dude had to chase a guy down, like he had to swim a guy down, like catch up to a guy, and he did at the last second. Oh, that was awesome. And then also obviously the basketball and stuff, the comeback there, that was cool. The wrestling, there's been some really cool wrestling moments. Yeah. No, there has been some awesome moments. Dude, people have totally forgotten how last year Simone Biles just crapped out of the medal round though. She just quit. People forget that. But okay,
well, she had the spins or something, right? She had she couldn't get her orientation.
Yeah, it was like an anxiety thing though. Like she claimed anxiety or whatever, right?
Well, it happened. It's like when a baseball player gets the yips or whatever. I guess it happens to gymnasts and to swimmers when if they have trouble getting their orientation. Like swimmers end up in the pool not knowing which end is up. It's like a really weird thing. Like all of a sudden you lose your sense of up and down. I guess as a gymnast, it makes sense if you're flipping and twisting and spinning so much. Like if you're not totally in sync with that, then I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think she bailed and another American one. So it was all right, fair play.
So, okay, let's keep moving. The next question I wanted to ask AI about the Olympics is the Olympics fair? Bern, your thoughts. Is the Olympics fair?
So this is an interesting question because I remember for the longest time, right, we used to send Olympic basketball, we sent our amateurs, right? It was just our college players. And then 92 was when we decided, you know what, the rest of the world's catching up a little bit. We want to put a little stamp on this Barcelona game. And we sent the dream team and beat everybody by 75 points.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one point.
Do you know who was so they did the dream team and then they took the best college player. Do you know who the best college player was?
Best college player that they chose not Shaquille O'Neal, but Christian Latner.
Very good. Yep. Good. Yeah. Fun fact, you are correct. To be fair, he was the best college player that year. He had that Kentucky pass and you know what I mean? They won a national championship. I don't know, dude. He was lights out in college. But either way, sorry, keep going. You're right. So they did the dream team to put some nuts on some chins, as Andy would say.
Do you know who the leading scorer of the dream team was?
Was it Chuck?
It was Chuck, the round mound of rebound himself, Charles Barkley.
Good old Sir Charles.
And I remember Sir Charles afterwards talking about how, we're getting ready to tip off. And guys are just on the other teams are just man, I can't believe we're playing against you. Will you autograph my shoes after this? And Barkley being this is weird. We are gonna pound you guys, but I feel kind of bad about it. And so that was something I remember thinking well, I don't know. I guess it's fair. The other countries are sending their professionals, so why don't we send our professionals?
True.
But now, we've sent our pros ever since, and the rest of the world's catching up. And, the U.S. had a tough game against Serbia and then had a pretty close game against France. So I think
they're playing ball.
They're playing ball. So I think it's I think it's fair. I think everybody knows the sports they're competing in. Because let's be honest, I mean, those people who swim, they swim all year round. They swim for the whole 3 years. They're in competitions. They're in meets. They're swimming professionally. But nobody pays any attention to that.
No.
Really.
They're all doing it at the collegiate level, I believe. There is some international, but it's mostly at the collegiate level, right?
It seems, at least for swimming, it seems like that's the case. But Simone Biles is 27. You know what I mean? So she's I don't know. Like I just don't know enough about. I guess that's why it's cool too. Is I don't know enough about the world. I don't know what they're doing like in the off time. I guess there's like world championships and like, but like, does she even meet every weekend? Does she even meet like once a month? Is there like one big international thing they do every year? Like I really have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. How does she stay how does she stay in competition shape? You're right. Like it's 4 years. You can't just compete once every 4 years. Like there has to be worlds or something. Also, Caitlin Ohashi, I think her name is, or something like that. Just keep an eye out.
Okay.
Just keep an eye out. Shout out,
Um,
fan of the show, listener of the show. But no, you're right. It's like I agree. Like swimming, like dude, wrestling, it's got the same thing. Like we'll watch the national championships for wrestling here, but as far as like an international clash, we really don't see it. But like if like a lot of the times they'll take like the top US guys and they'll pay for them to go to the Middle East, and then they're wrestling a match in front of 70,000 people in a sold out soccer stadium. You know what I mean? Like, so they'll get their international stuff in. Like, I know Jordan Burroughs got that a lot. Like, they'll go to like different countries where wrestling's the national sport, and they'll clean up then, and that's what they'll do to like, maintain be able to maintain in not Olympic season. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It is tough for those type of sports that aren't in the limelight year round, you know?
yeah, but that being said, I do think it's fair. I think
Yeah.
the only thing that time I ever thought maybe wasn't fair was when we ran the Dream Team in there to beat everybody by a million. But you know what? That forced the rest of the world to invest more in basketball
Yeah.
and their programs, and it's actually produced a lot of awesome NBA players and stuff. So I think it was a good thing.
I think too, like it's weird, like I think people had their specialties, where it's like the Olympics were created for that reason. Because it's like, okay, you might be good at this, but we're really good at this, and this is our thing. And you can have this, but we're gonna have this, right? And then the US came in and they're like, actually, we're gonna do everything, and you're gonna take it, Like, dude, like I did you watch the show Sprint on Netflix?
I did not.
Yeah, I could not give a damn about track and field, but apparently in Europe, track and field's pretty big, and they have this thing called like the diamond circuit. So that like track and field still, that's the other thing. Like, dude, Michael Johnson was a superstar in 96, right? For a couple months, and then the Olympics was over, and everyone's like, all right, are we done with this guy yet? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
we saw you on the Wheaties box, man. We get it.
yeah, but you're done, you and your leotard can take a hike. But not like so like this guy, Noah Lyles, like the stuff he does to get attention, you know what I mean? Like he's doing that because he's in a sport that they don't get any attention, So he's kind of forced to behave that way and become like a heel, so to speak,
Yeah, I mean, any publicity is good publicity at that point, right? I guess.
True. Very true.
Um,
Also, I don't know. Is it fair? Like, I mean, is this a weird question to ask? But is it fair racially? Right? Like, is it fair for white people that they have to like those are the people that have to compete? Like these Polish guys. Is it fair that they have to compete against Noah Lyles? Like,
I mean,
is it fair?
all's fair in love and love and genealogy. Yeah, I think. Well, it's funny. Like you look at certain things too. Like I think the U.S. dominates, right? Because look at how big our country is, and look at how diverse the country is just geographically.
True.
Like we
True.
have beaches. So like if you're a beach volleyball player in the Olympics, you're probably living somewhere in California. Like, but
Yeah.
we have mountains to ski. We have
Yeah.
snowy areas. We have kind of all of the different kinds of terrain where like if you're in Norway, like yeah, they got some big ass mountains, and I'm sure they have some beaches, but it's not like warm and sunny. You know what I
No.
mean? Like it's
No.
not the same kind of environment. So
You're
um
right. I
or you look
agree.
at
I mean, yeah.
like the Kenyans always win the marathons.
Yeah.
I think Kenya is like 3,000 feet above sea level. Like, so all their training is in like super, super, super altitude. And then
Mm-hmm.
they get somewhere like Paris and they're like, oh, like the Kenyan dude who won the marathon did it in 2 hours and 6 minutes. That's 26.2 miles in 2 hours and 6 minutes. So he's running 13 miles an hour, which means he's running less sub 5 minute miles the entire time from start to finish. And
That's wild.
That's crazy.
He legit can eat whatever he wants.
He better.
Apparently, they have this thing for like those guys that do the ultra marathon where it's like a carb log where they take a pizza and they roll it up like a burrito and they just house it, because they're so depleted that they need like a ton of carbs and sodium and fats and everything. Yeah, pretty fun, right?
That's a wild way to hammer a pizza.
While running, just
Yeah.
So no, you're not wrong. There is okay, let's see what AI has to say. So AI kind of agrees with you, Bern. So I asked AI, I said, AI, hello, are the Olympics fair? And it said, that's a complex answer. It's complicated, it says. It says, here are some factors that contribute to the complexity of this issue. And it says, while the Olympics strives for fairness, achieving perfect equality is a monumental challenge. They're not wrong. They're not wrong there. So the first thing they say that this could be, something to deal with the fairness is resource inequality. Athletes from different countries have vastly different access to training facilities, coaches, and nutrition. This creates an uneven playing field. They're not wrong. Think about this. And I was talking to a buddy I work with who's from Ireland, who's from the old country. And he had said, he's like, dude, Ireland, the country, is a little smaller than the state of Pennsylvania. Right. So I was thinking about this, like, did you see that guy who said, he was talking about the Kelsey speech and he said, "Go Birds" when he won his Olympic medal,
Yeah.
He was a rower guy, a crew guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was like, man,
Drexel guy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. A Drexel guy. But that's one Pennsylvania guy out of how many athletes that went to the Olympics? You know what I mean? Like one PA guy. So I'm thinking like for Ireland, for them, the amount, like just in percentage wise, to have someone make the Olympics and then medal in the Olympics for that small of a, like that little of, I guess, a population it's insanity, like the odds of coming out that small of a population and making it to the Olympics without the same types of resources that the US would have, it's asking a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with like, anybody who's of Olympic caliber in the United States. They have their own trainers. They have the best access to training, equipment, rehabilitation work. I mean, like, yeah, they have like it's a whole science where like, the Kenyans are just like running up and down mountains. Like this is what we got. We're gonna see what works.
So moving on, one of the other things that AI says is, hinders fairness is doping. It says the constant battle against performance-enhancing drugs is a significant challenge in ensuring fair competition. It's not wrong, but I'm of the mind of the Daniel Tosh. I'm in the Daniel Tosh, boat where dope them up, babe. Dope them up. Get them all doped. I want to see the best athlete chemicals can make. You know what I'm saying? Let's dope them up. You ever doped up? Let's get doped up.
You want to dope it up?
You want to get doped? Mediocre?
I was waiting for mediocre.
Mediocre? That's my trigger word.
That's tough, though, because, like, for example, the last Olympics, we were like, all right, Russia, you can't compete under your own flag because we caught you cheating so much that there were Russian athletes had to compete under just kind of a generic, like, athletes of Russia, but not so if they won, like, there was no Russian flag, there was no Russian anthem. And this Olympics, we were just like, you can't come at all.
Yeah.
Because their doping is just so completely out of control. Like, literally, there were people passing piss through a wall. And like they cut a hole in the wall in like the bathroom stall. And the Olympic people were like, what are you guys doing? This is so obvious. Like, you're not even trying to not get caught doping. So like this time around, they were out. It was like, sorry, you can't get. So it sucks if you're a Russian athlete. I mean, listen, we saw Drago. Who knows if Drago wanted all that stuff pumped into his body? Like,
true.
I don't think the Chinese athletes have much of a say what they're ingesting. It would be easier if they just let everyone dope it up.
Yeah, dope it up, mediocre. Let's keep it moving, keep it on moving down the road. So, Bern, do you have a moment from the Olympics that sticks out to you? It doesn't have to be this Olympics, it can be any Olympics.
Ooh, I mean, I just remember like a montage of Phelps stuff when Phelps was like really. I remember Phelps like celebrating and putting his arms in the air and looking like he wasn't a human. Like just the way his body is shaped is so
Yeah.
strange, and like he's kind of built for swimming. But I just remember seeing that guy and being like, again, like this doesn't seem fair. It doesn't matter what the stroke is, it doesn't matter what the distance is. Like he's
Yeah.
just
It's like, how can you swim
absolutely
with this
dominating.
many teeth in your mouth? And it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
everything
also
but the fin.
too, I really think that white people are happy to be like, oh my God, yes, we have the best at something. This is awesome. He's the best swimmer, and that's going to be ours for a long time. I
Oh,
think
wait a minute.
white people were super into being able to say that, yeah, he's the best athlete ever, right? He's got the most Olympic medals. He's the best athlete ever because, he's a white swimmer, right?
Also, Vince Carter jumping over that 7 foot guy.
I
That I
I
remember.
saw that clip the other day. You know what else I
Yeah.
remember? 96 Olympics opening ceremonies, Ali lighting the torch.
Yep.
I'll tell you, they do some good. I mean, wasn't a big fan of the opening ceremonies this year just because they were kind of like they tried a little too hard. But dude, I love a good little pomp and circumstance, Daddy. So, but I did want to ask AI one last thing, if that's okay with you, my good sir.
Of course.
I was going to ask AI, I said, hello, AI. Can you please tell me, how do Olympic athletes compare to athletes of the major sports? And by the major sports, we're meaning like basketball, football, baseball, hockey. Is there a fifth sport I'm missing? Soccer,
Soccer,
maybe.
probably.
Because it's a global gimmick, we'll throw soccer in there,
Yeah, internationally speaking, soccer, cricket, the big ones.
Yeah. So what do you think they're going to say, Benoit?
I mean, I think they're going to say that. I mean, obviously, we're seeing athletes in sports that are more popular, more widely watched, do amazing things all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Simone Biles, like, I don't know, getting your head 7 feet above where it usually is when you're walking around is pretty impressive to me. So
Yeah.
I think we'll see. The answer is probably that the Olympic athletes are so much more specialized in what their skills are. Where like, a guy like Tyreek Hill, he's fast and he's strong and he's got good hands, and that makes him a great football player.
You know what, Bern? It's funny you said that. So AI said Olympic athletes and athletes in major sports both represent the pinnacle of human athleticism, but there are some distinct differences. The first one they said is specialization versus versatility. They said that the Olympic athletes often specialize in a single sport or even a specific event within that sport, allowing for extreme focus and development of highly specialized skills. Whereas major sports athletes, while they excel in their respective sports, they typically possess a broader skill set due to the complex nature of team sports or individual sports with multiple facets, i.e., tennis, golf, things like that. So, yeah, you were right there where it's like, because they're talking about like, Simone Biles. Well, maybe we won't use her. Maybe Noah Lyles, right? So he runs the 200 and the 100, right?
Right.
So he's training for legit, I think, a total of 30 seconds, right? Like his whole game is 30 seconds long, right? Because the 200 is 20 seconds long and the 100 is 10 seconds long, right? So he's
If you're really
training,
fast.
right? Yeah, which he is. He's the fastest. But like, if you're training for that stuff, like that's what it's coming down to. You know what I mean? So like they're saying, if he was doing all of track and field, like shot put, the pole vault, then sprinting, like that's one
Decathlon.
thing, right? But if he's doing this thing, dude, that's one thing I wish they had at my school. I would have loved to have tried the javelin or the hammer throw or the discus, right? Like I would have been all about it. I tried shot put. Shot put was okay. And then I really liked to like I would have loved to maybe pole vault. I didn't see in my future, but it's a thing. Also, can we talk about this real quick? Women's long jump. Have you seen how they're getting up? They're all doing it the same way.
I have. Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
It is. It's very much a thing.
And they're doing it on purpose.
Well,
They're
it's
doing
not
it
an
for the
accident.
attention. No, it's not an accident. They're doing it for the attention. They're doing it for the look. They're doing it for, the eyes popping out of the back there because there's a couple of them. Oh, I ain't mad at them. I ain't mad. No,
Hey, man,
sir.
there was that French dude who lost his pole vault because his wang knocked the board off. You know what I mean? Like,
that was pretty great. I mean, if you're
yeah,
gonna lose it, you want your Willie to be the cause, But
100%.
Sure. I bet he wish he was trans now, huh? Hey,
He died doing
okay.
something he loved, having a huge penis.
Yeah, so that's AI's thoughts. Burns, let me get your thought before we get the hell out of here.
I think AI was pretty helpful today. I think we were kind of on top of it. I mean,
We
again, it's one of those.
we really milked AI for all it was worth today, bub.
I had a couple of easy weeks in there where we kind of laid the groundwork, and AI was like, "You guys are so smart and handsome and correct," and we let it off the hook. So
AI.
It was time we put it to the test a little bit. Yeah, I'm still going to be thinking about that question of just like, who's a better athlete, like, LeBron James or Simone Biles? Because while Simone Biles is incredible at what she does, LeBron James has had a 20-year career of being able to do like everything and also skilled. You know what I mean? It's also like dribbling a basketball, shooting a basketball, like those things are there on top of endurance and agility and stuff. So yeah, I think that's an argument for. I mean, as long as we're not talking about breakdancing, then I think that checks out. So yeah, I think AI was pretty helpful there. I think
how awesome would it be though if, say, like a basketball game came down to a tie, right, or whatever, and they had to settle it by breakdancing, or if that was an Olympic rule, all ties are settled by breakdancing. I'd be down for that.
You've just created a potentially new Olympic sport, basketball dancing.
Have you seen basketball wrestling?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Bro,
it's pretty brutal.
I'm not, I mean, I'm down to clown, but I'm not getting in on that. There's some of them where I'm like, dude, how is that guy walking right now? Okay, so we're coming towards the top time. Benoit, anything before we get out of here, Papi Chulo?
Now, just looking forward to, I got to admit, I am partial to the Winter Olympics. I really like the ski jump. That's like my favorite thing. That's the one thing I see where I'm just like, how
like the long one?
Yeah. Where they just launch. Like, I don't even know how you practice that shit. But
yeah, well, speaking of being partial to the Olympics and all that other kind of stuff, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast presents Ask AI. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You know us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. Enjoy us on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe, and we'll keep bringing you this sweet content. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks. See ya.
Working Perspectives Podcast. Please like and subscribe.